So, what we're going to go through and what we're going to talk about is, in football, obviously a team sport, we are often quite concerned with the kind of group response and stuff. Yeah? So how well we perform with a training session, a gym session, or obviously a match day. But obviously, as practitioners, we're also aware that individuals within that team respond differently to a multitude of different stimuluses. So whether that is a strength program, certain players respond to strength training, stimulus differently, respond differently to other players who might need a more power impetus or hypertrophy, something like that. And same with stuff we do on the grass. So we'll talk a little about that, we'll talk about how it is kind of approached within research, and we'll talk about how we can apply that within our setting. We'll talk a little about how we determine the differences for individual programming and how much individual programming is needed. You know, does every player need to do something completely different, or is it kind of a blanket cover with a little bit of touch-up extras here and there? And then the kind of conversation a little bit maybe we could talk about throughout, or a little sort of 5-minute break in between. Conversation, how far do we take that individual program? As you said, is it every player has to do something completely different all the time? Or do we assess on every single training session? Or is it kind of, we do a block and see where everyone turns out, everyone does the same, and maybe that doesn't work for 4 players, so they change, and maybe that hasn't worked for the next 4 players, maybe 2. So a little bit of sort of research and background into individual training, and what different responses happen. So a little bit of research on from True Colby and some of the academic group 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. If you look at how weak athletes or relatively weak athletes and strong athletes respond, and how you increase their power output, the relatively weak athletes often need just the strength training stimulus to help increase their strength, but also to their power output. Stronger athletes or relatively strong athletes need a slightly different stimulus, and not just the standard strength training stimulus. They may need something else to help incorporate and improve their power output.